Hi, how you doing? Minister Renee here. Welcome back. What a guan bumpy head girl today. And let me tell you something, it is very warm in Jamaica. So if I take a perspiration on me, it's the heat. I'm just saying it's warm. Okay, I know we can't have the fan going because if the fan going, then it okay, you know the story. So hi. I trust that you've been enjoying and being blessed by the interviews that we've had so far, and that your appetite, your palate wet and ready, and you want more. We have more. We're also going to be having a discussion session with a counselor to talk to us and tell us, boy, how to deal with some of these things. You understand? Because the mental part of things can sometimes be very difficult. Yeah. So anyway, so if you haven't watched the videos yet, please go do so. Yeah, start right there. Now, we have an interview today. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. With a friend of mine from high school. Her name is Tracy Delahaye. How far we come from? Okay, because we're not in our 20s nor 30s. Mhm. Yeah, and she's also a part of our women's wellness community. And she has a story to tell. You know, sometimes we hinge our identity on people, and when things don't work out, we crumble. Oh, she's got a story to tell. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. It's an interesting bit to listen. Oh, yeah, the sweat. Bless you. Tracy, talk to us.
Hi, good night. My name is Tracy Delahaye, and I am 46 years old. I am an educator. I teach middle school. I'm going on my 16 years working with the city of New York. I am the proud mother of a 19-year-old son, and I'm just a woman, learning to accept my differences, hoping that I can make a difference in someone's life. So
Nice,
that's
nice,
basically what I
nice.
am.
With all of that being said, Tracy, we know that nothing comes easy and life's not always what we plan for it to be. And we know that you've had some challenges to the point where you became depressed. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Um, going back to my 20s,
Mhm.
young, you know, free, no children, no nothing, no nothing at all. And in a relationship, with my son's father, and just being free at that time. I wasn't a Christian. I partied, I had my friends, and I was just living and not thinking about life itself. So with that free spirit. But as I got older, and I started my relationship, and I got pregnant with my son, and everything, that free spirit just left it. And I started thinking mature, and I have responsibilities and all this. But then here I am in a relationship where I think it's a committed relationship. We weren't married or anything like that, but as the years went on, I stopped living for me, and I was living for the relationship in hopes of having, the fairy tale wedding, the fairy tale, lifestyle.
Right?
But yeah, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. It was just shattered, out of the blues. He started a new life, a new family, and left me here with my son. And then during the same time, my mom was getting sick, and so she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And at this time, I was just in the time of my life when I was, deciding to, move out of the family house and get my own property and all of this. And so everything just came at once. But so with the breakup, my mom being sick, and became her caregiver. She was living with me, and being just dropping my dreams and picking up that dream, it's sort of like was a burden on me. And after my son's father left, I didn't address it. What I did, I was ashamed of everything. I'm just wondering what people, I didn't want to say anything to anybody. I didn't want anybody to judge me. Yeah, I kept it a lot to myself. A lot of people didn't know what happened to the relationship,
Mhm.
but because I did not I just put it in a closet and I closed the
What
door. I
you
think
know?
I put it. I put it and I closed that door and I locked it away, thinking that it's gone forever and I'm gonna hide it.
Yes,
But
like trick.
Mhm. But as life goes on, I
Mhm.
realize that it's not possible for me to just close the door. But as things went on, I started my demeanor started changing. I started feeling overwhelmed. I
Mhm.
started getting, all of this anxiety and all of this. So I realized that, what, um, I didn't address my issue that I needed to address, but so that's when everything started. My life changed from that party person, happy-go-lucky
Humans
person.
came to life.
Yeah. So it changed. So that's when the depression started. It started going, slowly, when my mother got worse and I'm just trying to navigate my job, and everything. So that's the beginning and the of my depression.
So it really became bad at what point?
When I realized that I couldn't trust people around me, when I realized that I couldn't say anything to people, because I remember, and this is when after I became a Christian, and so
Mhm.
all of this took place, and I eventually became a Christian. I went back to church, and then it's like this is when the devil started working hard. It's like, I had like just hurdles over hurdles. I got pregnant. I
Mhm.
had a miscarriage. I was hiding that because, of, being a new Christian and being pregnant is like, people's gonna judge you. And,
Eh.
when you
Your
have
truck dropped
people
down for
telling
you.
you that, because you're not, I don't know what it looks like to be depressed or what people think it is. But I had people saying to me, no, you're not depressed. I see people that's depressed and you're not depressed. And because of that, I sort of like backed up a little bit. I stopped sharing what's going on with me. And because I stopped doing that, I started to internalize more than I should. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, and the minute I stopped talking and the minute I started isolating myself, that's the correct word. So that's when it got, so this is when now the devil started to play around even more. So he got me where he wanted. So that's when the depression, that's when the anxiety started coming.
Yeah.
Don't know how I make it day to day. I get up, I don't know how I got up. I don't know how I got to work. I can't remember the steps, my process. What did I
Mhm.
do? I just knew that I got up, I got to work. I was tired, not physically. I was mentally tired. So I was just floating. So for a couple of years, when I started isolating myself and not trusting human, not trusting people, not opening up to people because of fear. And you said that word just earlier, fear of what they're going to think about me. What people. Hmm.
I tell you.
Yeah. So that's when it got to that point. Yeah.
You shut yourself away from people.
Hmm.
Isolated yourself. The trick of the enemy is to tell you that you don't need people, you can't trust people, and so you isolate yourself. But then your mother became worse. What
Hmm.
happened with your mother? Tell us about that.
She started deteriorating a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and I became her ears.
Mm-hmm.
I became her eyes.
Wow.
I think it was a psychological thing where I was able to tell what pain she's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I shut myself away from the world,
Yeah.
and I was living behind her. So she became my strength because I use people always often use this word to me, oh, you're strong and you're strong. It's a word that I hate. I don't like the word. People don't understand how that word, and psychologically damaged everything about me. And I often hear from people, oh, you're strong and your blessing is gonna come. And they wouldn't even know that I'm
You
weak.
like to hear the term you're strong because you know you were struggling.
I'm not, I wasn't strong, but she became my shield. She became my reasons, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do
Crutch.
that. Even if I went out, I often come back home because I know I don't stay out for too long. And until the end, I mean, God rest her soul, she passed away last year. Um, and then after she passed away, it's like reality sets in. It's like she's no longer here,
Your crutch is gone.
so she's no longer my shield. She's no longer here. She doesn't give, I don't have any excuse, in terms, of whatever. Right. It
So
was,
how did you come to a place of healing? Because now I know you're at a better place. How did you get here? What did you do? What were the measures you put in place? What did you do differently?
what did I do differently? I went and I seek help. One of my church sisters, advised me that what, go out and seek help. Go speak to a counselor.
Counselor.
Speak to somebody and she made sure just be careful who you're talking to. The experiences that I've had within the church, in terms of people not being there for you how you want them to, but so I went to this counselor, and she was a Christian lady. So that was like the turning point when I started talking to her. The first thing she said to me was that I needed to go back. And yes, sometimes people tell you it's not good to go back to your past. You have to go back and find the root of
That's
the
good.
problem. You have to go back and you have to dig that root. And you have to either nurture it or you have to pull it out. You have to go back and you find that root because it's coming from
There's
somewhere.
something deep seated, yeah.
So in my 20s, I was happy. I was up to 25. I was good. I was fine. I was happy. At least maybe I thought I was then, but not knowing. But then everything went downhill from then. So go back to that point, and look. So I went back to that point, and it started with me not addressing the issue, not identifying, not coming to terms with the situation between me and my son's father, and not forgiving because when he left, I started thinking that I was nothing.
Wow.
My self-esteem went all the way down to the ground, and that
You
was an
depended on him.
embarrassment.
You stood, he was your all.
Exactly. I went all the way to the ground. My self-esteem, like, I mean, I never had much, that we are through our high school years, but
Yes.
but that took me down. But I questioned myself, and I put the blame on me. It wasn't him. The blame became me. I just automatically tell myself that I'm at fault. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? I thought I did. These are the questions that I ask. So I was embarrassed. That, like, people are gonna look at me that I it's my, so I took it as my fault and I'm just gonna deal with it. So I had to go back to that point, and I had to start living back from there. And I have to now, I'm at the point where now I'm training myself. I'm trying to find Tracy. I mean, I can't get back to Tracy who was in her 20s partying and so forth. And the Tracy that I don't know who she is, and
Uh-huh.
that's an ongoing assignment that I have. But I'm still looking for her. I'm still trying to find
Let
the
me ask you something,
Mhm.
Tracy. What have you accomplished? Having gotten over the period of depression, you are looking well, like I say that.
Let me
Having
correct you
gotten
there.
over
Before you go any
that,
further, not over it. Not
all
over
right,
it.
you're
It's
not
still
over it,
progress.
but you're
Mm-hmm.
at a better place.
Mm-hmm.
You're at a much better place.
Mm-hmm.
What accomplishment have you had since that time? Have you conquered anything? Have you done anything that you can say in former times you wouldn't have done?
Mm-hmm. I've done a lot. The first accomplishment that I've had is that my son was able to graduate with honors and to see my hard work paid off. And I mean, he could have gone left, with the situation, but he stayed on track, God fearing, got baptized, and going to school, no problems. I have no issues with them, manageable everything. So that's my first thing, that's one of the road that helped me in the direction where I'm going. Deciding to I did the weight loss journey before.
Mhm.
I started that journey because we were doing it, me and my son, a couple of years ago. We did it, but it was just a to do thing, you know.
Yeah.
But then I joined, Totally Well by Renee, um, and it took me into a whole different place, like because the last time I did it and I lost a lot of weight, I didn't do it. I did it and I missed out certain components. Pieces to the puzzle was not added, so it wasn't complete. So everything fell because I gained it right back. It's like it wasn't complete. And the part that I realized as I started the journey with, Total Well by Renee, I realized that I missed out the spiritual piece of the puzzle. So the puzzle wasn't complete. I realized that I learned during that time, I learned the difference between isolation and just being quiet and listening for God's word and to hear when God speaks to you. When I got quiet this time, I was able to differentiate the two. Like, you know what? Sitting quietly and listening to the directives that God is giving you is different from you locking yourself in the room and not doing anything and just watching the TV and giving the devil the opportunity, or the enemy the opportunity to come and to attack you and to have his way with you. And as I'm going and I'm learning, the difference, and I'm going, I realize that I need to have the spiritual needs to be one of the key in everything that you do. So
So,
I added the spiritual within my journey. So it becomes a physical, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual journey. So all the components were put together. And the accomplishment has been very, very great. I've gone from beyond. I mean, what it did for me is to, because I always think that I was never a consistent person. I always think that I always start things and never finish it. This journey proved that I can finish it, and I realized that I can be consistent, and it starts within the mind, and it's your mindset
yeah.
that determines or deter whatever anything that you do.
If you're
Mhm,
going to advance or make any move
mhm,
towards getting out of this place of depression, you need to get
mhm,
help, and you need to find at least some accountability, some a group, some persons that you can get some support from in
mhm,
order to make some strides,
mhm.
right? But if you were to say to persons who are watching, who are struggling, they are struggling with depression at this time, if you should give them some advice, what advice would you give them?
The advice that I would, that is something that I looked at.
Yeah.
And as we talked about that, I did a presentation and actually that, and we're talking about I did a presentation and just knowing your freedom, just knowing your freedom, and the gift that God has given to you. And the first thing that I would say is that we have to, that Psalm 139, verse 14 says,
Yes.
I'll give thanks to you from fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
Wonderful you are, your works, and your soul knows it very well. You have to find who you are. Who am I? So you have to accept yourself. And that's the critical key for your freedom. You know, just I would say, as this is just a knowledge that I gave, look in the mirror, and just look at yourself. So this is what, you're looking in the mirror. It's like, and people look at in the mirror and they look at themselves and they see, you're looking at your makeup, right? You're looking at your outer appearance. But sometimes you have to stand in front of that mirror and go beyond your outer appearance and look deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going beyond your skin, no matter what, so that's the first thing, accepting yourself. It's going to take, it's not, I'm still in progress. This is mine, is an ongoing process for me. And the next thing is that just seek help. Step out for a minute, and seek help. It's gonna take a while to get that person to open up to one thing, but just seek help from somebody, seek help, speak to somebody, and just, I mean, the first thing, even before you accept yourself, is just know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Comes with Him.
Tracy, thank you so much, so much, so much for being so open and honest with us and sharing with us. Because I believe that somebody will be blessed, somebody will be encouraged, somebody will be motivated to make a step forward. To
Amen.
make a step forward. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Amen.
And let me say to those viewing,
Okay.
God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of an absolutely sound mind. Blessings and
Amen.
understanding.